Hey everybody, this is the Ads with a Twang podcast. I'm your host Ben Blackman, and on this episode we're going to talk about YouTube ads. Are they really worth it? Here comes episode 122. The Ads with a Twang podcast is dedicated to helping you create simple, successful ads and use smart strategies to grow your online business. I think you're going to love this. Let's get started. Okay, I know we spend a lot of time talking Facebook ads, and I love Facebook ads, but I really love YouTube ads. And I'm going to give you the answer as to whether or not YouTube ads really work right now. Yeah, they do. Don't be silly. Of course they work. But they are not going to fix a crappy offer. If you have a crappy offer, there's no amount of YouTube ads is not going to fix that. And the problem is that most people do not or are unwilling to take a look at their offer. They would rather blame the ad and if it doesn't work. So if you're going to run YouTube ads, you better get that out of your head first. But let's just talk about what it takes to make YouTube ads work and make them work, be effective. So learning to YouTube ads is a process. You're not going to, if you haven't done them before, you're not going to jump in and they're just going to work. Not likely. So be prepared for that. Budget wise, be prepared for that. Even your mental state, you want to be prepared for that, because you're likely to have, your numbers are likely to be pretty bad, and it can be discouraging if you're not ready for it. The other thing is, if you're coming from Facebook ads where you could test stuff a lot quickly, YouTube ads often don't work that way. So you have to be able to, you're not going to be able to test as much stuff as fast depending on your budget. So just be prepared for that and understand that it's going to take the amount of time to figure stuff out is just going to be longer. And that's okay. You just want to be prepared. You're likely to start losing money from the very beginning. And I hate to even say that, okay? And that happens to me, and I've been doing this for a really long time, and I don't, even when I put out a YouTube ad, I'm not sure if it's going to work or not and how much I'm going to have to test it and that kind of thing. It's going to happen that way. I know a lot of people out there say that, they have the formula dialed in and blah, blah, blah. And that's sort of true, but again, it goes back to your offer. If you have an amazing offer, your ad can be kind of crappy. Not that you want it to be crappy. I'm just saying it can be, and it still works. But if you, don't have an amazing offer, then, you might have some problems. You're definitely gonna have some problems with some ads. The other thing that you want to kind of consider is that if you know YouTube ads are going to be part of your strategy, like at least at some point, then the longer you wait to learn them, the worse it's going to be, because you're just going to be playing catch up at some point. So even if you're not running higher budget YouTube ads, even if you can spend a lower amount of money, excuse me, to figure out how the system works, how the input works, the targeting, all the nuances that go along with it, then you're better off doing that. So YouTube ads in general, the way that their input and stuff is not anything like Facebook in terms of the process. And it can be confusing because I think a lot of people expect it to be the same or easy to carry over like that, and it just doesn't work that way. I wish it did, but it doesn't. To me, the interface isn't nearly as intuitive. It's not nearly as intuitive to where to input things or why you need to do this or that, or when Google offers you suggestions, should you take those suggestions or not, and those kinds of things. But you want to give yourself enough time to learn those nuances, and that's what this is all about. So there's one thing I do want to kind of warn you against, and there's a thing. How on Facebook it has like you can boost a post. And while that may not always be a bad thing from a Facebook or Instagram ad, on YouTube it's a little different. So there's this thing where you can just kind of promote your videos. So it's essentially a boost to try to get more subscribers. And it will work. I mean, you likely will get more subscribers at a pretty low cost. And depending on your niche, you can get a ton of them. The challenge is that, and listen, I have no solid data. This is all anecdotal to back this up. I'm just going by what I've seen. But what happens is when you do the promotions is that your channel may grow, from an ad standpoint, but your organic reach starts to drop. Now, I know that sounds crazy, right? You're getting more subscribers, but the problem is the subscribers that you're getting aren't watching. They watch that one thing, they subscribe, and they never come back. They never see anything else, they never do anything else. And so that in turn causes the algorithm to think, well, your channel's not as relevant because your subscribers won't even watch you. So it's kind of that cycle. It's not that they're pitting it against you. It's not that they're penalizing you. I know that people will say that they're not penalizing you because of it. They're taking, the algorithm's taking a look at, who's subscribing and who's watching and who's not. And that's what happens. You get a ton of subscribers, they don't watch, you lose, your organic reach. That's how it goes. So I'm going to caution you against that. One thing also that I didn't mention before, I thought I'd go over is that I love about YouTube, or the thought of it is that if Facebook ads went down today, what would you do? Right? Where would you go? What would happen? And that can happen. Let's not pretend like it can't. That's silly. I've expressed many times I've lost a business overnight, a huge business. I mean, it was gone in one day. And so it can happen. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just saying, well, this is just a thought experiment for you. Is just, hey, what are you going to do? That's another good reason to understand and learn YouTube, so you have another channel. It's the same reason that you want to not just collect people's name and email. You want to get their phone number too, right? So you can text them, or you want to also get their address so you can mail them. Yes, people still do send out mail. Direct mail still works. We'll talk about that another day. But just think about that. What are you going to do? So you want to be set up to go somewhere else and do something else. A lot of people will ask me, what ads they should run first or what type of ads, and it just depends really mostly on your niche. In-feed, what they call in-feed ads, you can run those just all the time. I mean, those are a good thing to do, but in-stream ads are what most people tend to gravitate towards because that's what we all see, or we think about, because they're interrupting our stinking video, right, that we want to watch. So in-stream ads are fine. The way that we often create them, just so you know, to kind of simplify this and give you some variations, is we typically create 3 intros, 3 outros, but the middle's the same. So it essentially gives us 9 videos. And that seems to be pretty effective, so you can use that. All right, let me just tell you the only reason that to run ads, I mean, other than what I was telling you. So you want to make sure you have a proven offer, okay? You're willing to be on video. Yeah, I know, faceless, blah, 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 and all that stuff. For now, anyway, you being on the ad for most niches is going to be your best bet. It just is. So, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. You can still try it. I'm just saying, if you're on the video, it's going to be a lot better because that genuine, authentic connectedness works much better than AI, and it probably always will, but nevertheless. And you've got at least $50 a day, $50 a day to invest to test your ads for a few months. You can't just put out a little bit. Now you can run, small budget ads. You can run $5 a day type ads, but your results are going to take a long time, and the algorithm's not going to figure out who's, who it's working for and who's not in that time period. It's just going to take a long time. With $50 a day, you're going to be able to figure it out a lot quicker. And I get it. It's not great if you don't have $50 a day. That's not where you are yet. I understand, but you can start budgeting for it now. So I would. The other thing is I wouldn't suggest running YouTube ads if you haven't at least ran Facebook ads. And even though these are two completely different platforms, the thought process behind it is the same of what you're trying to do. Okay, you're usually trying to get somebody to opt into a challenge or opt into your whatever it is, or sell your low ticket offer, or something along those lines. So that is all the same, and you can kind of gauge, what you need to do in YouTube based on some of that experience. And Facebook's it's a lot easier to get that going and to understand that. So once you ran some successful Facebook ads, jump on YouTube, all right, and see what happens. All right. That's it. That's all I have on this one. So YouTube ads, and just to recap, they're great when they're done the right way, but they're not a shortcut. Okay, it's a plan and process, and you want to make sure that you have solid messaging before you even get started. So that's it. I hope you like this. Please subscribe. I would love that. And listen, if you haven't grabbed my Lead Magnet Mastery Guide, you probably want to check that out. The link's below. And that's it. All right, I'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks for listening to the Ads with the Twang podcast. If you get a second, jump on over to my YouTube channel, Marketing with the Twang, and subscribe. You'll get all kinds of no BS business building help there. I'll see you next time.